There's a small cotter pin right here. I don't know if you can see that. It's on a little pin. The pin, you'll see in a minute, there's a bushing goes back and forth, or a bar goes back and forth, supports this part here. And this whole assembly comes off, and then there's just two pins here that hold the 3-point hitch on. Just remove the cotter pin first, which is always a pain. Thing is not to lose it. This is the little pin part, and most people try to put it in upside down. It actually goes in from the bottom up, and of course, as I said, don't try to lose it. Oh, I didn't lose it. Cotter pin, I got it. Dropped on the ground. Because this is a unique part, and I'm sure it's more expensive than it's worth, I'll put that inside that in my pocket and put it inside the house. These pins are held on because they're fairly tight with just what looks like a twisted piece of spring wire. And they're real fun to get on and off if it's the middle of winter. I'll get this one first, and then I'm on the wrong side of the camera there. One down. Put that in my pocket. And there's two bushings are very critical here, that flat on one side, the spar goes on. Definitely don't want to lose those.
For some reason my microphone must have muted. Just to point out, there are three hydraulic hoses that will hook up to the three hoses on the tractor. And at the bottom here, you'll see these pins at the bottom that come across. They'll fit down and lay on top of the brackets you'll see in a second on the back of the tractor. That's what will provide a lot of the structural support for the backhoe. Right there are the parts that I mean. And on the top here are linkage, where that the tractor will have a linkage. So go in through in the middle there, and will be held in place by these two metal pins that'll go through and are locked in place, as you can see here, and that will hold it in place. And one of the key things is it's very critical that you have to be able to back up to get that in exactly in place, and you'll see that in a second with the tractor. Clip.
I've shown you before where the backhoe goes. Here's the bracket, that bottom bushings go on here, and then there's a pin that will go through here. I'll have to raise these support pins for the three-point hitch. But there's a very small area that you can see on the backhoe that fits in here. So you really, one of the critical things when installing the backhoe is that you back up as straight as possible to get these aligned. And so you got 4 points, these two brackets, and then there's another bracket, if you will, where the pins go through here, have to be aligned as well. So there's those 4 points. If you can back up and get that on the first time, you can save yourself a lot of grief. And I don't always do that, to be honest, but that's quite one of the key things to installing and then your hydraulics. Other thing before I forget, there'll be a point where you have to disattach your hydraulics. Just remember, once you pull these apart, because it's hydrostatic transmission in the BX25, you won't be able to move any implements. And in fact, although the engine will start, I believe, it will not move. So you try to get everything right before you disengage the hydraulics as well. One of the other things I have to do is, when you get up so close, because this is basically, you'll see it resting on these boards, so it's not resting on the ground because it's been here all winter. But it's down low, it won't fit on the tractor like that, so I'll actually have to hook up the hydraulics and using the stabilizer and actually the boom itself to raise up the backhoe high enough that it'll be able to fit onto the tractor brackets. Was all lined up, but unfortunately when I lifted this up and over to the side a little bit, I have to move the tractor and try to get it lined up again. Once I got that lined up pretty nicely, it fell right in place. Now what I got to do is get these pins in here and just get that lined up. It's easiest just to do that with the boom, moving the boom back and forth. Bingo. Worst case scenario that I've had in a long time. You got to watch. Backhoe installed without any cursing, but close to.